Welcome back everybody to Prager Paints Minis. Today I'm going to show you a quick tutorial on how I do orc green skin. And it's been a little while since I've uploaded a video. I think it was starting to become a little too much work, or maybe I was putting a little too much pressure on myself. So I want to start churning out some of these more casual, faster tutorials for you, just so that you can quickly apply them to your own minis. And the model I'm using today is from a company called RTLW that makes excellent third-party miniatures for Warhammer, and I highly encourage you to check them out. I'll put a little code in the description to help you out. So we're going to start here with some Caliban green and moot green, a little touch of that moot green because I don't want to step it up too much initially. The main thrust of this tutorial is looking at really thinned down glazes. So you see the base coat there of pure Caliban green, and I'm looking for everywhere the light touches on the upper surfaces. And I'm going to end up doing probably 5 to 6 coats of this incredibly watered down glaze here that you see. And you can see there's almost no paint that I'm picking up on my wet palette in the background. Very often I'll get people asking how I achieve a certain look, and I don't blame them for this. Sometimes it seems like magic when you see the finished product, but the true answer is actually a question back to them, which is how much time are you willing to put into the mini? So this method is definitely a slow one, and you have to be okay with that. You have to be okay with taking the time to do layer after layer until you're happy with the result. So you might notice that sometimes I'm actually a little bit sloppy here, where I leave kind of a pool of excess color, and while I do try to move it around, every time you apply a color to a mini, it will always look much more vibrant as you apply it and as it's wet, but as soon as it dries, it'll definitely be much more subdued. It'll dull down, and for that reason, I don't worry too much. And if it looks a little patchy initially, which tends to happen with glazes, we're just gonna end up doing multiple layers over the top, and it'll fill in all those gaps and smooth out the entire process. So if you're having trouble with this, it's probably because you're doing 2 or 3 layers. Whereas if you're looking at a finished product that I'm doing, we're talking 6 or 7. So if the previous mix was about 4 parts Caliban green to 1 part moot green, now we're at more of a 4 parts Caliban to 2 parts moot green. And you see that I'm just mixing it in here. You want to really make sure that it's very consistent across the board. And then once again, I'll just make sure it's incredibly watered down and follow the same process as I did in the previous step. So it can be a little bit hard to see here, but you want to make sure that as you're glazing that, first of all, you're pulling from the outside in or from the bottom up to the raised areas. And you want to make sure you don't completely cover the previous step. Otherwise, you're just going to have these very harsh transitions. So if in the first step you're covering 80% of the surface, the next step you're going 60 or 70 and so on until you're really only hitting the very upper parts of the surface with the very highest highlight or brightest color. So I believe I added the next step of color off screen, but what I did is add in a little bit of Uriel yellow, a citadel color, and what that does is it adds a little bit of warmth. And the reason why is I noticed that my right arm here was actually looking a little bit cooler or darker than the left arm, and that is a danger of mixing your own colors instead of using a bottled color. And you just got to have an eye for that and really adjust as you go along. But I did want to make the skin here a little bit warmer and a little bit brighter, focusing on, once again, the upward edges. So I'll leave you with that, a little bit of footage of me following the same process. On paper, it's very simple, and it just takes some patience and practice. And that's honestly the trick for all painting. So I hope you enjoyed this video as we kind of close out here. I'll show you where I am. I actually haven't even finished the project yet. If you would like to see me continue the project, feel free to follow me on Instagram, Prager Paints Minis, and I do post almost daily updates there of these projects. So if that interests you, please follow me there. And please let me know also if you like this shorter, more bite-sized style video where I'm not showing from front to back the entire project, but I'm showing kind of little step-by-step, more bite-sized tutorials to help you as you're looking for singular techniques to finish your own models. And I'm sure at this point the YouTube algorithm is really upset with me because I've posted videos few and far between, so I would really appreciate on this video especially if you watched it to the end here, if you could leave a comment and a like, that would greatly help me out. And if I see that feedback, then I'll continue to post these more often. Thanks so much and enjoy the rest of your day.